So we're here at the Adelphia Research Center. We have about 196 acres here that we're doing our breeding work. This farm has been active since about 1966, and it's part of the New Jersey Agricultural Experimental Station. This particular test here is a good example of the kind of improvement work that we're involved in here at Rutgers. Before Manhattan Ryegrass was released in 1967, that variety was the very first low-growing turf-type perennial ryegrass. Before that was available, there was only some older varieties and things like this light-colored grass that's completely been taken over by its neighbors that's called Lynn Perennial Ryegrass. It was the big ryegrass that was available before 1967. So that development of Manhattan has resulted in a ryegrass industry that now is about 150 million pounds a year that started with Manhattan back in 1967. A lot of it is produced in Oregon. Some is produced in northern Minnesota, and some is in Canada, and of course in Europe. But when you compare this coarse, open grass that was Lynn, it has very poor mowing quality. It has very poor persistence in the turf. As you can see here, from this trial planted in 2017, it is almost gone. And that wouldn't be desirable for a home lawn. But now you look at a lot of these other grasses, like this light colored one over here. You could look at this darker one here. There are many varieties that were cooperatively developed by us at Rutgers in our breeding program. We work with seed companies on the West Coast that put out nurseries, which is where I got to know Dr. Funk here at Rutgers. He's the one that started this program. And so we go through what we call cycles of selection in this open pollinated species. And so at Rutgers, if you look at what they call the National Turfgrass Evaluation Program, the perennial ryegrasses from Rutgers that went to various seed companies through their breeders are now in the top in the national test. They represent the top 30 varieties in the national test. So you can see tremendous variation. You can see some of the weaker varieties in the test have been invaded, like this one here is invaded by annual bluegrass, and there's more weeds in some of these grasses, and here's one that's damaged by disease. So we're continuing to improve these grasses. This species came originally from Central and Southern Europe. That's where the Lolium perenni evolved. This grass came with the settlers to America, was found in old turfgrass sites that were 100 years old, and that's where Reed Funk found the parents of Manhattan Ryegrass. So we have continued to work on the germplasm that was here when I came in 1996 as the director of plant breeding for turf, and we have worked continuing the work that Funk started in the late 1960s. So it's a continual improvement program. We plant these trials this national test is planted every 6 years. So far in the national test, the varieties that were germplasm originating from Rutgers are the top varieties in the national test, and we're very proud of that fact. So there's, for example, I'm not sure it's visible, but there's a lot of contamination in that particular plot from annual bluegrass, and you don't have that in the better plots that have higher density. The wonderful thing about ryegrass, it's used in homeowner mixes because it comes up in 4 days when the soil is reasonable, 50 to 60s, and you can have a really mature lawn in about 5 weeks with perennial ryegrass. So it's been widely used. It's also used to overseed the Bermuda grass in the south. When it goes dormant, they put 400 or 500 pounds per acre in the Bermuda grass turf, and it grows a beautiful fairway or home lawn for the winter period in Palm Springs, in Arizona, or in Florida. So it's an interesting species, and it's one that is easy to improve, and we continue to try to make it better.